Have you had this conversation recently?
Hey man, have you seen this good TV show on Beat Bop?
No, I haven't, but I heard it's really good. But have you seen this TV show on Flim Flam?
No, I haven't. But hey, you'd love this other TV show. It's on Ging Gong.
Oh, you need to get Flip Flap. It's got the best movie. It's exhausting.
So today, to get up to date fast, we're guessing the ending of each other's favorite TV shows after just one episode.
Guessing the plot after one episode.
I'm a big fan of brain rot television, so today I got Joe to watch his first episode of How I Met Your Mother.
The first episode of How I Met Your Mother begins in 2030, where Ted Mosby is telling his teenage son and daughter the story of how he met their mother. The story flashes back to 2005, when 27-year-old Ted helps his best friend and roommate Marshall Erickson prepare to propose to his girlfriend of 9 years, Lily Aldrin. Along the way, Ted Mosby meets a woman named Robin via his womanizer friend Barney, who he immediately falls in love with. After some goofs and gaffes, he tells her he loves her after one date, and we cut back to the kids as he says, "That is how I met your Aunt Robin."
Firstly, how many seasons do you think it ran for?
Well, I messed this up last time because I was like, between How I Met Your Mother and Friends, one went for 10 seasons and one went for 11 seasons. But I was wrong. So this is 11 seasons and Friends is 10. Lock it in.
Okay, lock that in, my friend. Question 2, what do you think is the character arc for every main character introduced to you?
All right, so Ted, I imagine it just ends with the camera turning back on him as he tells his kids how he met their mother. I just think from this episode, he's such a non-convictive protagonist. He's just kind of an awkward bachelor and we're riding on the reveal of how we met the mother. So I think the whole series is just leading to that end for him.
What a hot take.
Barney, I think he stays exactly the same. I think he's too far gone and too goofy for him to change at all. And I think in this kind of show, he learns nothing and suffers no consequences. Robin, she probably gets strung along for half the series being like, oh, Robin's gonna be the one, but then just revealed to be the sister of the mother or whatever towards the end.
Okay.
Lily, in this episode, she gets engaged to Marshall, but I reckon they break it off at some point and she starts dating someone who's the total opposite of Marshall, and then it's just like the Marshall and Lily interactions are just always an awkward fun gag or something.
Right.
And Marshall, I think he turns into another sad bachelor character along the way, and we have goofs and gaffes of him in the single world, and maybe at the end of the series he finds someone who's just as incapable as he is at doing simple tasks, and it's real fun.
Bro, that's a scathing review on Marshall.
He can't cook, he can't do anything.
He just can't open up a wine bottle, brother, but other than that, he's all
It's
right.
not hard.
Okay, there's some fine guesses. What do you think is the main climax of the show?
I imagine there's some crazy rug pull that I'm not able to predict because this thing goes for 1,000,000 seasons. How am I supposed to predict it from one episode? But I imagine, I've heard people are disappointed with how this show ended, so I imagine something flies in out of nowhere that ends the series in a fun way that would be impossible for a mere mortal to predict on season 1, episode 1, but it's obviously not going to be Robin.
My final question is, would you continue watching it?
Honestly, apart from maybe like a chill out with the partner situation, I have it on in the background, you wouldn't really catch me watching anything from the casual viewing section. I'm one of those people who likes dark energy in TV, and I can watch that in whatever mood I'm in, and How I Met Your Mother just doesn't suit my tastes, unfortunately, but I can see why it would be a fun show to many, and hey, I respect you for picking it for me.
Thank you for bringing it back there, because this is my favorite show of all time, but I do understand that you could happily watch Ozark for the rest of your days and just be in this sad little grovelly hole. So let's reveal how you went, my dear friend.
All right, hit me.
Firstly, the amount of seasons. You were actually wrong in your first ever guess on the first episode. How I Met Your Mother only runs for 9 seasons. Yeah.
Neither of them ran for 11?
No, sir.
What
That is
do
a
you
wrong
mean?
take. You were wrong the first time, you're wrong the second time. To start with the character arcs, you started with Ted, and you said that at the end of the show, the camera actually turns around to old Ted, and you were bang on. 1,000,000% correct with that.
Let's go.
Yeah, we just cut to Ted, and that pretty much hits with that. That's how I met your mother.
Let's go.
And the whole show, you are right. that is Ted's whole arc, seeing as the show's called How I Met Your Mother and the show's about Ted. Yes, the show is about finding his mother. Barney has this beautiful character arc throughout the show. You guessed that he went nowhere, and my friend, you're actually not wrong.
He's not a Joey situation from Friends.
Kind of is and kind of isn't. He isn't because they wrote him this beautiful arc where he actually ends up getting married to Robin, and he actually does get called on his bullshit behavior throughout the show in multiple moments. But I'll tell you more about Barney in the climax section. On to Robin, you said that she gets strung along for the entire show. Yes and no. There is a certain will they, won't they with Ted and Robin for sure.
Yes.
But they also make it very clear after episode 1 that Robin's not quite that interested in Ted.
Yeah, and that's confessing love, fair enough.
Yeah, it kind of gets cut off and then Robin just becomes a staple part of the crew.
Okay.
But there is still an element of will they, won't they towards the later seasons for sure.
Nice.
And I'll get to that again later. Lily and Marshall, you did call that they do break up at some stage. And they do.
Let's go.
They do. Lily runs away, and which is super sad. And so we do see Marshall for a very short period go through the single stages. Lily, we see glimpses of her in San Francisco, but not a lot of. But we see Marshall do be the sad single guy, and then as soon as he finally comes out of the slump, it's about half a season long from memory, Lily comes back. And they actually shack up, and they stay beautifully, wonderfully together for the rest of the show.
How did the whole thing end?
You were again right, my friend, about the rug pull. You've done so well this week.
Oh, okay.
There is a major rug pull. We end up in season 9 taking place at Barney and Robin's wedding. The entire season is away from where we normally have the show. But then right at the end of the season, they do this quick montage of flashing forward through the years. Barney and Robin end up breaking up, and that's how Barney goes back to being normal Barney self. Ted does find love though, and it's wonderful, and he finds love with a perfect partner for him. But they reveal that the partner dies. The partner gets sick after they've had the 2 kids together, and she passes on. What we find out as the camera turns to old Ted is that Ted's telling this story to his kids of how he met his mother, but the kids call him pretty quickly and say, "Dad, we actually think that you're telling us this story because you're still in love with Aunt Robin."
Oh, so it hooks all the way back around anyway.
All the way back around, and so Ted ends up running and getting the blue French horn and going outside Robin's apartment and holding up to her. And he's sitting there with tears, and she's sitting there with tears as they're older, and I cry every goddamn time. And sure, I don't want Robin and Ted to get back together because they did a whole series of showing why they shouldn't be together, but that part still makes me weep every single time. But there is that major rug pull. You are absolutely correct. You pretty much nailed it.
That is sweet. Well, thank you, Mac.
Hey, thank you, Joe, for watching my favorite show. Put it there.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of the fine arts though, so I got Mac to watch my favorite show, Twin Peaks.
In the first episode of Twin Peaks, FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper comes to the small Washington town of Twin Peaks to investigate the murder of Laura Palmer. While Laura's father and mother mourn, Cooper begins his investigation with the help of Sheriff Harry S. Truman.
What kind of fantastic trees have you got growing around here?
Coming up against the town's many secrets and quirky residents in the process.
First question, Mac, how many seasons do you think it went for?
The episode was long, Joe. It was like a 90-minute long first episode.
It's just the pilot.
Yeah, I'm assuming they all are though. So with that being said, I don't think you can make a lot of these, so I think it's gonna be limited to like 3 or 4.
Okay. What do you think the arc is for every main character introduced to you?
There were so many characters introduced. So we'll start with Laura Palmer's best friends, Donna and James. I reckon they're gonna go on this little Scooby-Doo type mission throughout the entire show that's aside from the police officer, and they kind of keep their findings secret to themselves, but they start uncovering separate mysteries that the police officer doesn't.
Nice.
The football boys, Mike and Bobby, are mean, angry boys, and I reckon they lead the town on some weird, angry witch hunt. They get the whole town on their side, but that leads to Bobby's demise. He's gonna die. Bobby will die.
All right.
The detective Dale Cooper, I believe, will solve the mystery, and will solve it kind of early on, but it'll be one of these weird mysteries where he can't do anything about it. It might be like the movie Hot Fuzz, where he finds out the truth but realizes the entire town is in on it, and there's nothing he can do about it.
Okay.
A policeman's dream.
Sheriff Harry S. Truman, I think he just goes on to have a great life. I don't think much is gonna go down with that guy. I think he's gonna be a lovable sidekick. He's probably gonna see some shit, man. He's probably gonna have a little bit of P to the S to the D. Poor guy. But I think he's gonna have a little romance, a little bit more with the lady that runs the mines or the mill. But I think she's gonna die. I think Mill Lady will die. I think she's wrapped up in too much darkness and they're gonna get her.
Okay, interesting. What do you think the climax of the entire series is?
I think that the father, Leland Palmer of Laura Palmer, the girl that was murdered, was the murderer.
Oh my God.
He just gives me evil energies. He played the devil in one of my favorite TV shows, The Reaper. He also plays Robin Scherbatsky's dad in How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, there you go.
He's also an ass in that show. So I think he's always typecast as the bad guy. So in this show, I can't see him as anything different, which leads me to believe that he's done the murdering. I think that's a mid-series reveal, but I think there's actually a bigger plot at play. I think that the timber mill has something to do with it. I reckon that's kind of like a drug trafficking type operation that he's got to do with, and that a lot of the town's young girls and other towns girls are involved in smuggling these drugs through the mill. And so I think there's a really bigger plot at play that we're not seeing and hasn't been divulged to us at all. But I think it's a lot darker and a lot bigger.
Very interesting takes, but would you continue to watch this show?
No.
Oh no!
I liked the idea of a soap opera doing something different and bigger than a normal soap, but the soap structure and the score was something I just couldn't quite get around. I just thought it kind of lulled me to sleep a little bit. I thought there was a lot of characters and that just takes a lot of mind to keep up with all of them. I just think that this kind of show with the long style episodes just isn't for me. I'm still a 30-minute guy. You know, if I wanted to watch a movie, I'd watch a gosh darn movie. I just don't think this is for me vibes-wise, but I think if there was a modern take of it, I know there's movies of this, so I think if there was that modern take, I think I'd probably enjoy that a lot more, but I know I'd have to watch the show to enjoy them, so no is my answer.
All right, well, man, that's fair enough. Let me let you know how you did. So in terms of how many seasons there are actually 3.
Oh!
So the original series went for 2 seasons.
Okay.
Then there was a 25-year gap before season 3 came out.
Wow.
And the episodes are like 45 minutes to an hour. It's just
Okay.
the pilot episode that was 90 minutes,
Gotcha.
just in case it failed and they just wanted to make that its own movie.
So I said 3 to 4, so
So you got it half right.
hell yeah, baby, I'll take a half a point.
In terms of the arcs for each character, it's weird because some of them end in the original series and some of them end in the future series. So Donna and James, you were right about them having their own Scooby-Doo. They find out information that the cops don't know and they're kind of meddling around, but eventually they're told to stop it and they just have like their weird romance play out and not too much comes of them. The football boys, they are pretty obnoxious as the series go on, but then they just go off into their own little kooky side plots. But Bobby appears in season 3 and he becomes a cop. He has this total redemption arc and he ends up contributing massively to helping solve the ultimate mystery of Twin Peaks.
I do like a good redemption arc where you go, oh man, I hated that guy and now you actually really love him.
Didn't die. Dale Cooper, he does solve the mystery, but does uncover this whole other cosmic mystery about Twin Peaks.
Cosmic, like there's a drug mill operation going on?
There is a drug mill operation going on,
There is?
but I'm talking about like space and time.
But just to circle back to me here, there was a drug operation at the mill.
You were right about there's a drug operation coming from Canada. It's a really off side plot, but hey, you got that point.
Awesome, okay. You would never in a million years have suspected that there was a dark cosmic realm type thing. But I'll take my wins where you'll reluctantly give them
Thanks,
to me.
bro. The town sheriff, it ends on a bit of a melancholy note for him, so it doesn't quite live happily. He ends when Dale Cooper goes into a different dimension and he's just waiting outside for his friend to come back. But when his friend comes back, it's not sunshine and rainbows, so it's presumed that he has a very troubled rest of his life, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did he fall in love at least? With Mill Lady?
Oh, she definitely died.
Oh, dang.
So you got that right. And that's it for the characters. And for the climax of the entire series, you're right that the murderer is revealed about halfway through the original series, and it was Leland Palmer who murdered her. And I swear, it's not supposed to be something you figure out this quick, which is shocked. He must have only been given these evil roles after he was the role of murdering Laura Palmer. I hate that you know this because it's such a good mystery.
Got that real, he's just an angry man. And I love him, he's a great actor.
You're wrong about the whole town being in on it though.
Okay.
Like the town is just a quirky town and there are some bad characters that contribute to this network of drugs and bad. But there's also this interdimensional cosmic forces of bad that interfere with Twin Peaks and eventually the rest of America in season 3. And the whole show kind of climaxes with this evil being defeated, but this interdimensional trauma still being active and alive. And it's really there's a 4-hour video of some dude explaining Twin Peaks. You can go watch that if you want to get more in depth. But ultimately, you did all right. You got a lot of things correct, to the upset of my own person.
Sorry my show didn't come with a brochure to understand it, brother. I had fun. I think it'd be such a weird twist for like an old lady that likes watching soaps back in the day when this came out to go, oh, there's cosmic beings on the telly. Like,
it's a murder mystery.
But I like that it did something different. I think that's very cool. So that is cool to hear that. I'm glad that I'm mostly right.
Well, hey, if you like TV and film content, we've got plenty of it on our channel. YouTube's gonna recommend you one now.
But until next time, my dear friends, make sure to tell someone you love them today.
Bye.
Bye.